the first to know. Nsem-Pii TV.
Okay, for Samuel, Papa, Minka said, Nana Akomea, and I just said, only Ufusu, or Nakwache, and say, wouldn't do my NDC, and just a share as a woman, one simply, that you get. Papa, Nana Akomea, and I just said, Regional Doctor Mahama actually didn't there, just walk total to be a money NDC among Nana Akomea. Can some just some of a Kenyano, Nina, Koma, Eva, John Dramani, Mahama, and Kofo, if I some Mahama, and go to I see Lukatia, and so ever can say just some of Mahama, and some sorry, some of Bawumia, a kind of Mahama, and it's what do. And not only not me, I was watching by this, which you say, to me on fire digitization, in food of Bawumia, if it's a sunny money, Dr. Bawumia, and just the panel. What was simply taking up and say, or where's Ajumana, so we decided to more so Namagana, and my baby Bawumia, the 2 Ghana for me, and so no better. No, I said, oh, a year, which must send you on the streets, Amanaba, a Ghana, my own see, and Pampa upon Udina, so no washing away, Emma, a Ghana man, finds upon a stone, others who so we do more, so the Magana man, and say, NDC for a faculty come so at the Casa digitization, one I shall see a baby a crumb in Sana. MPP among ever Kwama Dr. Bawumia, our best soon secretary is a woman, and it is a woman. And no means an Akomea, Wajibran is a woman, or such energy to follow down, or Mamma shoot down, or come on up to Gra, for Mumia, Putin, and Akomea.
In this simple analogy, President John Mahama is the driver. Dr. Bawumia, as vice presidential candidate, will only be a driver's mate should Nanado win. And he cannot have ultimate power. If he proposes something for you and Nanado says later, there's nothing he can do.
I insist the mate analogy is wrong.
No, I'm just,
by our constitutional architecture, the vice president is a spare driver, it's not a mate. The mate may be the
co-president.
Spare driver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let me read.
You can't go to the elections without a vice presidential candidate.
Yes.
Correct.
But you are a vice.
And the Constitution prescribes duties for the vice president.
The reason, and you know, when you want to ask me a question in Italian, I'll allow
right.
you. Felix has been extremely intolerant to you, almost kicking you off your seat. And that shows the difference between the NPP.
Oh, really? And can we get to the issues?
Now,
can we get to the issues?
Let me read something that Mahama said about the African economy at Harvard. And this speech, I'm sure Felix wrote some of it. He said, the pandemic is estimated to have dragged about 1 million more people into poverty in Africa and exposed another 46 million to the risk of hunger and malnutrition. Indeed, 70% of hunger in Africa, which had already been on the rise since 2014, is directly attributable to this pandemic. Then he goes on. Data from the Economic Commission on Africa show that COVID-19 created the continent's worst recession in 50 years, with real GDP in Africa shrinking by an average of 3%. Before the pandemic, poverty reduction was already a major challenge. Then the conclusion. Like governments all over the world, it became necessary for African governments to take action to shield their population from the effects of the COVID. This meant, in many cases, an increase in deficits due to unbudgeted expenditure. This has devastated many African economies and sunk them deeper into unsustainable debts and economic downturn. The pandemic has had a general deleterious effect on the economy of African nations. Now, when you tell the world this, and then when you come into Ghana, you say, oh, it is Bawumia.
But first, the message you attributed to, do you say Julius Debra?
Yes, yes.
When is it?
1 second.
I'm getting information from his outfit that this is not true. He's never made such a post.
29th October. I've seen it.
Of this?
No, in 2016.
2016?
At Kalio, yeah.
At Kalio.
I've seen it on
okay, so I'm told that this has come up and has been denied that he's not the one who did that.
But who did it?
I don't know.
Anyway, I mean, but I saw it on Ghana Web, I saw it on Peace FM, And when you check those portals, you see the report there.
Okay.
So if it was just a stand-alone report, I would just assume. But they are on many portals.
All right.
But anyway, that's beside the point. My point is that when these NDC people, when they go abroad, and you go and tell the world that we're having major problems in Africa because of COVID, and then when you come into Ghana, you say, oh, we're having problems because it's Bawumia. I don't understand it. And look, this digitization, you can go to the moon and come back. You cannot take it away from Bawumia. Bawumia has never said that nobody has done anything in relation to digitization. He has never said so. In fact, the name Mr. Digital was conferred on him by Ghanaians. And no matter what you do, you cannot run away from it.
Some people say prove to Ghanaians that even the things, the taxes he says he will eliminate, he can. Because they can't trust it. These taxes are being foisted on this country by the IMF because you have gone to tell the IMF that these are the areas that you can rake in these amounts of money to help. The tax on betting, you have told the IMF that you are looking to get 512.4 million Ghana cedis from it. The tax on electricity, you have told them that you can get 4.4 billion Ghana cedis on it. The emissions tax, you have told them that you can get as much as 597.8 million on it. In total, just these three taxes, you are hoping to bring 5.51 billion Ghana cedis on them. And these are IMF impositions. How can he take them away when you are under IMF?
IMF has agreed to them. IMF doesn't impose anything on you. You go with your own proposals, and you have an agreement. Okay. But why would IMF be encouraging you to do these taxes? Because of the fiscal hole. Now, if you can have a program that is going to close that fiscal hole, why would IMF be in disagreement? Now, somebody said something about Agyapong. I don't know if it's Felix or our friend on there. And I think we should be corrected. It's not fair to the minister. The minister never said that Bawumia drafted e-levy.
Who said that here?
So somebody said so.
I think the person is listening somewhere else.
He said that Bawumia said, I think it's your friend on the...
It's all over the place, but not on this platform.
No, the man on the Zoom. What did he say?
On the Zoom?
Yes. He
okay,
mention
Kwame Sapong.
Yes.
Okay.
It's to be fair to the minister. He never said so.
The statement the minister made is not entirely inaccurate from the way that the media projected it, that is being denied now.
Yeah.
So if you look at the substance of the statement, you can't blame the media for saying that's what he said.
No, the minister said clearly, and I've heard the voice, that it was Bawumia's reservations
that led
to the exemption of the 100.
It was not the MPs in Parliament. It was not the MPs in Parliament who insisted that that ought to be the case.
Well, I'm talking of what the minister said.
Yes, but we know that the result of the little exemption was the MPs fighting for it. It was not Bawumia.
I'm just talking about what Agyapong said.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, he didn't say Bawumia drafted e-levy, as people...
Or he whipped the MPs to do it. Okay.
But what he said was that it was because of the reservations that Bawumia had that the 100 cities was exempt.
And he convinced the MPs, including the opposition people, to canvass for that position.
About debt that Felix and his collaborators go on about, and I heard one of his people say that binge borrowing. It is not true. Look, the NDC borrowed $31 billion. The NPP, in fact, if Jomama was saying it just 2 days ago, borrowed $13.5 billion. So what is this business about the NPP has engaged in binge borrowing that has led us to? It is not true. And they should stop saying it.
National Service, look, have you heard what academics are saying and many others are saying? That he got it wrong, that he's going to make it, non-compulsory.
Yes. He's not going to cancel it. It's going to be non-compulsory. So if you can get a substantive job somewhere, you can go and do your substantive job. He hasn't said he's going to cancel it. Or
But,
It's given,
but
look, because
rural communities,
because
rural communities depend on service personnel
he hasn't.
for schools that sometimes don't have teachers. If it's not
hasn't-
compulsory,
he hasn't
nobody's
said-
going to go there.
No. He hasn't said he would cancel it.
Yes, I know that.
He said it is not compulsory.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is because it is compulsory that I am forced to go to a
If you-
village.
no,
and
but
it helps in also encouraging patriotism.
Look, as we speak, I don't know about multimedia. It's so difficult finding places for service personnel. Me working at STC, when the service idea came, the numbers of students coming out was quite much smaller compared to today. Now, at STC, when service postings come, the pressure I get, one, to take people at STC, two, to go and find them places for national service, is terrible. So if there's an option to find something else, let's try it. We've done this thing the same way since 1970 something when Buzia brought it. And let's try it and see if it will ease the pressure.
There's Professor Clement Apa who say, no, this is wrong. You shouldn't do that. There is Dixon Ada. Clement Apa. At the University of Ghana. There is Dixon Ada, who sends a message from the US, also says this is so wrong. Somehow it's a stopgap measure for a country like this where there are no jobs. People use the national service to do all sorts of things.
But Samson, the man hasn't said it will be cancelled. Has he said so?
Yeah, but
so if you have no option, if you have no option, it says jobs. If you have no option and you want to do national service, you'll be allowed. And mind you, look, if they disagree, fine. It's their right to disagree. There's no problem. Look, we will not describe people who disagree with us as liars and people who are prejudiced, like Samson and Felix and his collaborators try to do. People have their own opinions. If they believe that it's not the best decision or the best, that's fine.
He says because of digitization or digitalization, which one is it? Because of that, you can apply for your passport and things within 24 hours. So the 24-hour economy is already there. There are those who reply him that the passport office will not work in the night where people go for their biometrics. That's not 24 hours.
Now, if the passport officials have equipment all the time, because it's digital based.
They don't work in the night. They don't work 24/7.
It's system. Do the banks work in the night? It's systems.
The bank is different.
Oh, wow. It's the same system that you...
It's not the same system.
Well,
I make the application online, but I need to physically make myself available for my biometrics.
But at least your application can be there. Your application.
So it's not exactly 24
and you're
hours.
going to improve it as we go along. The technology you're going to improve.
Okay.
It. But look, this business about. Sorry.
I'll come to you. Hold on. I'll come to you.
Okay. We have only 5 minutes or something.
This business about John Mahama and done better than. Now, they say, and when you listen to Felix, they say John Mahama has done better than Bawumia. Is that the case? Is that the case?
He gave you the statistics. He gives you the figures.
How do you say a president has done better than a vice president?
From vice president to president.
Yes.
That's what he was showing you.
Sorry?
From vice president to president. That's what he was showing you with the figures.
The John Mahama economy
Yes.
is better than the Bawumia economy.
Yes.
Now, how do you
John
compare...
Mahama as vice president and head of the economic management team, he's showing you the record there. And he's showing you the record when he became president
John Mahama
too.
as president
Right.
took the vice president's economy, if we are to believe Felix, from 14% in 2011, when he was vice president, and he became president, and he took that same economy to 3.7%. That's what we have been told. That he was vice president and he did so well. And so when he was vice president, he took the economy to 14% in 2011 when he was vice president. Then when he became president from 2012 to 2016, he took that same economy to 3.7. Even that one under IMF. So the point is that, and this is my last point, so Felix can come in, he's been kicking me